the minutes of its March meeting where it kept rates on hold. Shraysi Tandon joins us live from Sydney. And Shraysi, it seems like optimism really jumped from the pages of these minutes.
Absolutely, Mia. That's what the RBA was really focusing on when these minutes came out today, is that it is optimistic about the global economy and global growth. Now, there are two things that the RBA really looks at when they factor in what to do with their cash rate setting. That cash rate target currently at 4.25% on pause this month. Second month in a row. Mia, the two things are what's happening in the global economy and what's happening domestically. Now, we did have a really grim month of poor economic data come out in Australia this month. Unemployment ticked up to 5.2%. GDP came in half at what economists had forecast at 0.4%. Payrolls fell in February, as well as, business profits fell in the last quarter. All of that sounds like pretty bad news, not forgetting the trade deficit, of course. However, the RBA wasn't too concerned by this. That unemployment figure is still at a really comfortable band, that 5.2%. When that ticks up to about 5.4, 5.5, then the alarm bells were start going off. GDP, again, a backward-looking figure. So then what do they move to next? Well, let's have a look at the global economy. Europe, the risks in Europe seem to be abating. Greece, of course, although it's in its fifth year of recession, did receive that $37 billion bailout package by the EU policymakers. Mia, America is also, the states' economy in the states is also seeming to steady, as well as China. Even though China's growth, Australia's largest trading partner, is forecast to come in at 7.5% this year, they are still quite optimistic. And that growth in China, which underpins our mining boom in this country, was really the underscore of the RBA rate pause this month.
So, Shraysi, what I want to know, and I'm sure you're making bets in the office, are what are the chances of a rate cut next month?
If only we could read their minds. I think we'd all be richer with all the trading bets that go around when it comes to what the RBA will or will not do. Now, I just want to say the RBA has known to pull a fast one on us, but at the moment, the economists are pricing in for a rate pause. There is no calls for a rate cut at the moment, Mia, and that, of course, is because of their optimism again in the global economy. Now, quite an interesting time for Governor Glenn Stevens to say that, given we heard comments from IMF Managing Director Christine Lagarde over the weekend saying that, leaders around the world and policymakers should not fall into this false sense of security, that there are still risks at hand. However, the RBA is saying, yes, these risks are there. However, they're not going to materialize anytime in the near future. Monetary policy is such an interesting game, Mia. You and I both follow it extremely closely. There's so much uncertainty in macroeconomic conditions that they have to look at. They have to take into account lagging indicators, backward-looking figures. So it's a really tight rope between, economic lunacy, as someone from the opposition said yesterday, or sound policy. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see what really happens in the international markets before that meeting next month, Mia.
Great. Thanks so much, Shraysi Tandon. It looks like you're waiting and seeing whether or not they'll actually change the interest rate, but right now it looks like a pause for next month. Well, a quick check on some of the other stories making headlines this morning. Apple shareholders will receive their first dividend in 17 years. They'll get $2